The subway screeched to a halt, jolting Sarah out of her daze. She clutched her worn backpack, her eyes heavy from another sleepless night of job hunting in Toronto's unforgiving winter. At 28, she felt like the city had chewed her up and spit her out. Endless rejections, a dwindling bank account, and a roommate who'd just given her a 30-day notice to move out. As the doors slid open, a crowd surged in, and Sarah sank deeper into her seat, her breath fogging the window. She didn't notice the man who sat beside her, only the weight of her own exhaustion pulling her under. Her head dipped, and before she knew it, she was asleep, her cheek resting on a stranger's shoulder. The man, David, was a 40-year-old high school teacher from Scarborough, heading home after a late parent-teacher conference. He froze when Sarah's head landed on him, her soft breathing barely audible over the train's rumble. He glanced at her, pale, with dark circles under her eyes, her scarf unraveling like her life seemed to be. He could have nudged her awake, but something stopped him. Maybe it was the way she looked so fragile, like she hadn't had a moment's peace in weeks. Instead, he stayed still, his own heart heavy from years of carrying his student struggles and his own quiet loneliness since his wife left 5 years ago. The train swayed, and he let her sleep. Sarah dreamed of her childhood in Thunder Bay, of skating on frozen lakes with her dad before he passed away. The memory was warm, but it cracked open the ache she'd buried since moving to the city, chasing a dream of stability that felt further away every day. She stirred, her eyes fluttering open, and froze. She was leaning on someone, a stranger. Her face burned as she bolted upright, stammering an apology. "I'm so sorry, I didn't mean." David smiled gently, his eyes kind behind wire-rimmed glasses. "No worries. You look like you needed the rest." His voice was calm, like a teacher soothing a nervous kid, and Sarah's embarrassment eased, though her heart still raced. She noticed something then, a small, folded piece of paper tucked into her scarf. Her brow furrowed as she pulled it out, glancing at David, who was now looking out the window, seemingly unaware. She unfolded it, her breath catching. In neat handwriting, it read, "You're stronger than you know. Keep going. A friend." Clipped to the note was a $50 bill. Her eyes stung with tears. She looked at David, but he was gathering his things, the train slowing for his stop. "Wait," she said, her voice trembling. "Did you?" He just smiled, shook his head, and stepped off before she could say more, the doors closing behind him. Sarah sat there, stunned, the note clutched in her hand. That $50 wasn't just money, it was a lifeline. She'd been down to her last $10, unsure how she'd eat tomorrow. But more than that, the words hit her like a wave. Someone had seen her, really seen her, in a moment when she felt invisible. She cried quietly, the note blurring through her tears. The rest of the ride, she replayed the moment, wondering who David was, why he'd done it. She'd never know his story, but his small act of kindness cracked open something in her, a spark of hope she thought she'd lost. The next day, Sarah used the $50 to buy groceries and a warm coffee, which she sipped while rewriting her resume at a library computer. The note was taped to her notebook, a reminder to keep going. She landed an interview that week, a receptionist job at a small clinic in Etobicoke. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a start. At the interview, she was nervous, her hands shaking, but she thought of the note, of David's quiet kindness, and found her voice. She got the job. For the first time in months, she felt like she could breathe. Weeks later, Sarah was on another subway, heading to her new job. The car was crowded, but she noticed a young man sitting across from her, his head bowed, his hands gripping a tattered sketchbook. He looked exhausted, like he was carrying the world. Sarah hesitated, then reached into her bag. She didn't have much, but she had enough. She scribbled a note, "You've got this. Keep creating," and tucked a $20 bill inside. As she got off at her stop, she slipped it into his sketchbook, catching his surprised glance before the doors closed. She smiled to herself, the winter air biting her cheeks as she stepped onto the platform. Sarah never saw David again, but his kindness rippled through her, changing how she moved through the world. She learned to look for the quiet struggles around her, to offer what she could, a smile, a word, a small gesture. Life in Canada wasn't easy, but it was full of people like David, like her, like the young artist on the train, all carrying their own stories, all searching for hope. And in those fleeting moments of connection, Sarah found something stronger than her fears, the power of believing in each other. So, to you watching this, look around. You never know whose life you might touch just by being there. Keep going. You're not alone.